We always skip ahead past the previously on so that we start at the beginning of the actual episode. And tonight there is a previously on. It is at 34 seconds in that we want our episode count to be at.
For once, there isn't on the DVD.
Oh, there isn't on the DVD. Oh, that's a little complicated then.
That's fine. I think you'll get, it's more people on Netflix, so go with Netflix, but it's just so odd that this is for once.
Oh, very strange.
Hey, John.
Yes?
We have some new people, and I was wondering if I could, in order to make them feel welcome, if I could get my spot up on the couch to Katie Jambard.
Yeah, that sounds great. Let me, just give me 1 second. I just want to get my timer to 34 seconds in. Do it here as well. Sorry, I'm just in the Remarcus app right now, so I want to do that really quick. Microwave in the background.
Is it a burrito?
3, 4. I don't know. I don't think so. No, we're doing the Garden of Eden tonight. I'm not sure exactly what it is.
My garden's almost all eaten.
Oh, really? We're doing a salad. 2, 3, 4. Okay.
It's 9 o'clock.
Great.
That's why I started earlier. My garden has pretzels and Jello.
Oh, nice.
I love that.
That Jello is. What kind of vegetable is Jello?
I'm sure there's something in there. I mean, do I really?
So, refresh me, Zachary. You'd like to give your spot to Katie. Is that what you said? Or Kelly?
Yes, please.
Katie. Okay, Katie, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to actually invite you up on the stage. You can accept the invite, or so we call it the couch. You can accept the invite or you can decline. And it's totally cool if you decline because you feel like, I'm not really ready yet. I don't want to, I kind of want to sit back and sort of see these things. That's totally cool. We will not judge. Everyone comes up here on their own time, but we do like to extend the invitation to new folks. And get you up here because it is fun. So I'm going to invite you, and if you accept the invite, then we will move Zach down to the bean bags, we call it. All right, welcome, Katie.
Thank you so much.
Of course, I'm going to move you down to the audience or to the bean bags, Zach. And I'll see you after. Thank you. Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Zach. I really appreciate that.
No problem. All right, so we're ready to go. Those of you who have been with us know what we're doing next. If you are new, have your remotes ready, paused at 34 seconds in, thumb on that play button. We are going to all hit our play buttons at the same time on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Oh. Sandra, we gotta mute your mic. Is it etc. or is it etc.?
Etc.
It totally is etc. It's not etc. Yeah.
Like espresso. One of my favorite openings is this one. So I was totally on the wrong episode. There is. I can just switch back to the right one.
Oh, no. Did you remember the mailboxes, etc. line? Or
yes.
etc. line?
Actually, yes. And I was like, what are they talking?
Yeah, let him get divorced.
Let him get divorced.
I wonder if the notary is.
Kirk, probably.
Privacy.
Oh,
Another Kirk job.
that was et cetera.
So one time he has a pen. I love this.
Oh, yeah.
Bad move, Luke. I like Nicole. Except for Sockman. He's not great.
242. How many episodes were in for Wit?
I don't know, but Kirk's
At least 246. And that's for 2 Darrens.
But don't they like sometimes start season 1 with episode 100, and then season 2 200?
Oh, yeah, maybe that's because then it would be 201 to 220. It would never get up to 240. That would suggest your numbering system would suggest that each season goes up to 40. There wouldn't be 40 episodes in a season.
Gotcha.
According to Google, it's 254 episodes, 74 in black and white, and 180 in color.
Wow.
Wow.
I never thought TV lasted that long.
Single card.
You're in this episode.
Yes. I wonder if Nicole if we're done with Nicole, or if Nicole will come back. It felt kind of resolvey in the last episode, but of course I'm a little nervous.
Would you miss her if she was gone for good?
No, at this point I want her to be gone because I feel like she might bring some drama that is a little scary.
I'm curious what kind of conversation she and Luke would have had before what we're seeing now, though. Like, there's a lot of space to fill in. I think
Yeah, I kind of get the sense that he just didn't even speak to her about it. He just said, "I'm getting a divorce."
I think there's change of papers and sign, and that's, yeah, I guess actions spoke for themselves.
He must be on a trailer.
So Digger still knows nothing. Is that correct?
Yeah, correct.
I just had to ask because we always jump a lot of time with these episodes.
I felt so bad for Jason. So bad.
Yeah, me too. I'm generally not a fan for him, but I definitely feel for him in this situation.
Me too. I'm not a fan, but oh my goodness.
Yeah.
And not a fan of Richard in this episode too. So the least, I think this is the only few episodes I'm not a Richard fan.
Yeah, definitely. Seeing different sides to both of them.
Is that a cube? What is that?
A heavenly sphere of Vulcan Sting. This is not real.
Is that Nintendo 64 or what is that?
Yeah, it looks like a cube or whatever this were called.
Oh yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Is there even anything on TV?
I have an N64, so I know that's not what that is.
What was that game we were playing? Was that like a made-up game, or was that a real game? Oh, I know
Wasn't
this one.
anything I recognized. That's a fancy shirt. Penguin shirt.
Those were kind of expensive back then.
I know. I actually wore a lot of penguin shirts. I actually kind of like. I feel like I started wearing penguin shirts while working on the show, and then got really into penguin shirts. Now I have a bunch of penguin shirts. Oh, I know the line coming up. I remember this. That's funny.
Oh my god.
Didn't I also say something about eating pizza off the floor? Did I say? Does Brian ever say eating pizza off the floor on a dare,
I don't
or is
remember.
it just cheesecake? Maybe that's just a discussion we had there. Maybe one of us said that we ate pizza off the floor. Like I just, for whatever reason, remember a discussion about eating pizza off the floor. Did I eat pizza off the floor?
I have a friend that eats pizza off of his floorboard of his car every bike race. I don't know why.
Maybe Todd will remember if you ate pizza off the floor next time you talk to him. Oh, yikes. Look at that progress. Oh wait, that's not the end, is it? I'm confused. It is the end.
Cookies right now. Is that the first time we've seen the logo for the dragonfly?
Or she had it on the
maybe.
stationery. Aside from the stationery, like being really small.
Looks like the old Suki too. No more glamorous Suki. Just back to her chef garb.
Right. I love that. Even though he was kind of talking trash on them, I like seeing Michelle being nice to people too, like trying to do a good job.
Trying to charm them.
Yeah.
Did he say brought in from his father's company? I thought he said he didn't bring any clients.
Yeah, I did.
Because he had a non-compete.
Sue him. Freaking sue him, man. I don't like Richard in this episode either. This is making me mad.
Don't mess with family.
The skag and
What is Asher? What's Asher's? What does he do there?
He's a professor.
I know, but what in what area of this? What college? What area of the
Philosophy.
literature?
Philosophy.
Philosophy.
Yeah.
I was trying to remember and I couldn't.
Oh man, this is not going to end well for Paris.
Is that a real book, or did they just make it up for the show?
Oh, that's a good question. The book cover was definitely created for it. the question is whether or not those books were made for it. They might be like from a stash of just generic, nothing in them, or just like generic writing in them, books inside the storage, and then you pull them out, and then the production just puts their own book cover on it.
I love Doyle in this.
I love Doyle too. He's so
It says that Jaglon, or whatever, however you say that, is from a short story from the guy that did The Wizard of Oz. Where's The Wizard of Oz? It's like it just had that the name anyway. Copied from.
See, all of this makes me hate Asher and think he's just yuck.
Yeah, I don't really like Asher. I mean, I don't have like a real strong reaction, but nah, he's in the like, I don't feel about him the way I feel about Mia, for example, but he's definitely on that side of her.
I mean, he is dating an 18-year-old, so yeah, I don't see what's his redeeming quality.
Yeah.
And a different one every year.
Yeah,
Oh,
no,
exactly.
no one got a Twitter, and it's what it says.
Ew, I never thought about that.
We don't
Yeah,
know much
he
else
did it.
about it.
Mary, I'm gonna need to know who that other character that was your favorite character was. I don't feel like I ever really asked in that episode.
Doyle was my favorite character.
But then there was another one you were like, and now I've got another favorite character that's coming up in this episode, but never found out.
I honestly don't remember which one we're talking.
This is incredibly random, but it's so rare that Lorelai's hair is pulled back. It's almost an odd look when you really focus on.
Well, that's your fault, Richard. You put yourself in this. I don't feel bad for him at all. Well, I do wish that she would have apologized or at least acknowledged that she did lie about her relationship for 5 months.
But she did.
Yeah.
She did it at the beginning of the scene.
That's what she did.
She said, I'm sorry. She said, I'm sorry for not telling
She
you.
did, but that's really not why she's there, though. And I think
Right.
that's what's upsetting to him. You know what I mean? She's really
Yeah.
upset to like defend Jason and talk about Jason. Oh, and by the way, I'm sorry about this huge lie.
Yeah, it was.
Right.
I'm sorry, but
Exactly. I have a question on the whole 5 months thing after the show.
Yeah, man. I am really disappointed in this guy.
I love Emily in that scene, though.
Wait, was that Keon?
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, that was Keon. Oh, you know what? I should get Suzanne to come.
Yes.
I can totally reach out to Suzanne.
Is that the actress playing Kim.
Yeah, she played Keon. She's
Oh, that would be
awesome. I wish that
I
they
love
they
Keon.
had brought her in for the revival.
Yeah.
Yeah, John, we were giggling about the piece on the floor possibility when they were showing her introduction in the show.
Right. No, I mean I did see her. I remember I saw like a little pink sweater, but it was also from far, so I couldn't really see exactly who it was. Like I know that Lane has had like there have been like other girls that have passed through that there was another girl earlier, remember there was her aunt June.
Yeah, I was thinking it was this
Yeah, I
character
wasn't
that-
really totally sure, but now it's like clicking. I'm like, oh my goodness.
Did you
Yeah.
catch that?
No, I'm sorry, what was it?
Rory got an A
So-
on her paper.
Oh,
And then some kid came and got a B, but he said, and she's like, "Are you like happy about that?" And he's like, "Yeah, a B." And his class is like an A anywhere else in America. And then she picked her paper and it was an A. And this whole
and that's Asher.
previously she was like it.
That's Asher.
Yeah. And previously she was like it. My paper sucked. So
Ooh.
Getting weird.
Oh, this is getting real. Season 4, second half of season 4 is just amazing.
it is. It really.
Yeah, I'm
I
appreciating season 4 a lot more.
I noticed how she doesn't tell Rory exactly because she doesn't want Rory's like relationship and thought of him to be tarnished.
I wonder if a part of her would think that Rory may take Richard's side in this, or maybe not take his side, but maybe have more compassion for him.
I think she worries about that too.
I want the sandwich too.
It should come with a sandwich. I want to talk to someone who actually understands Korean and tells me if that's right.
I feel like that's the most Korean we've heard in the show.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm curious too. Yeah, I'm curious as well. I mean, Suzanne is Korean, but I mean, she's got like, she doesn't, I mean, she speaks English, like, she doesn't have a Korean accent, so I would imagine she learned that from at home.
I would love to hear what that experience was like for her too.
Yeah, I'm gonna contact her after this. I'm gonna send her a Twitter a tweet.
Awesome.
I'm sure she'll join us. She's super cool. Creepy. Real creepy.
So creepy.
Extra creepy.
His body language. Just seems very odd.
I do respect Rory though for speaking up because this is
Totally.
awkward for her as well.
Totally. I can't wait to talk about this afterwards. I think this is a big discussion.
Is that a threat? Like, switch out of this creeps class quick. He's so creepy.
Yeah, I'm
Do
curious.
you think he was
I'm
telling the
curious
truth, or do you think
whether-
she was right?
Yeah, I'm curious whether folks believe him 100% about his rationale for why he gave Renee.
Maybe
That's
he's looking for
that's the
his
question.
girlfriend.
That's the question I'm going to ask afterwards.
Not dressed up for Friday night dinner.
What's the surprise? There's something. There's something. There's a surprise. I don't know what it is.
I don't remember either, so I'll be surprised as well.
There might not be one. Well, that's surprising.
Oh,
I now remember.
yeah. Yeah, I just remembered what this one was.
Did he take the same pills as Jason's mom or something?
He is chipper.
It was a weird Friday night dinner.
What is going on?
All depends on which definition of math.
Are they doing some hanky panky or something?
Wait.
That's an interesting interpretation.
No, it kind of feels like that. I don't know.
Yeah. I'm glad Lorelai went though. I'm glad Rory got her to go to this.
Are they like drunk or something?
She's just pretty casual too.
Yeah, that's not Friday night dinner attire for Emily.
Rory looks fancy. I think she got fancier when she went to college, and I don't quite understand that.
I have no clue what's going on, and I'm racking my brain trying to predict, but can't figure it out.
I love that you have no idea. It's great.
I can't remember, so I'm just like trying to figure it out too.
Lily, you'll remember in a second.
Weird.
You'll remember in a
Don't they always have dinner at 7?
Yes, every night per year.
What is happening?
I'm jealous of y'all not knowing. That's very fun.
It's just so funny.
Look, there's no table, centerpiece, or anything.
Oh, I never noticed that.
Say that, yeah.
As he pats his stomach. Did you catch that, John?
It's like they forgot it was Friday night.
This is so funny.
What in the hell is going on?
I think I'm remembering, but I might not be remembering
Lily,
the right.
Just
one.
think about it. I mean, you'll find out in a second, but just think about it. This is the start of something.
There's been a lot of stuff that has happened, and I'm mixing it up, and I'm like really trying to remember. This is insane.
Just wait a minute. You'll remember it.
But they didn't get on Lorelai's case.
Nope.
They got parting gifts.
Where did they get their jackets from?
The couch. What? Oh, yeah. They had to left him sitting on the couch before the.
Oh, I remember now.
Told you you'd forget it.
Yeah, this is what I thought, but I couldn't remember if I was
You were right.
Where is she moving?
right. Does she see their cars? Their cars?
They parked not in the driveway tonight. I always found that really.
She's too busy not paying attention as well.
Yeah, she's not paying attention to them at all.
Boom.
Are they separating?
I don't know. Hey,
Oh,
look at
they are
this.
separating. Oh my goodness. All right, let's watch this.
Boys at town bomb.
And I actually know this song.
Black hat.
Yeah, the buzzer time bomb.
I only know this song because of this.
I actually learned about this way before I ever watched this, and I heard this, and I was like, oh, hey, I know that.
I love how your one hand is not moving at all. You are not even playing the bass.
The tie with the quarter button up shirt.
Yeah, and Lane had the tie over just like a shirt earlier. That was such the style back then.
Does anyone know if this song appears somewhere else in another episode?
I don't think it does. If I don't know, there's a lot of different other songs.
Does your belt have, does your belt have flames on it?
I think so. Oh my gosh, Cousin Turner is so underrated. That character is awesome.
John, eat your carrot.
I hope there's some fan fiction about Cousin Turner.
I want there to be. I mention Cousin Turner every few years on Twitter. I thought that character was.
I feel so
That
bad
is
for
the
him.
that is the actress who plays his wife from the other episode.
Is it his real wife?
No.
Oh, that's awkward.
Oh God. Group.
They have about the same hair.
Oh, is this
Well,
where
that
she's
must be
starting
21,
to?
right?
I was still so sad for Lane's face.
Oh, like Lane doesn't have anybody.
I wonder what the patches on Lane's shirt say. Look at you munching carrots.
I
This
can't
scene
remember whether or not I don't remember whether that whole like time bomb scene, whether the camera was handheld. But I remember that the director of this episode asked Chris Long, who's another director that I told you this season, he's the producing director. I remember asked him whether he could do handheld, which they don't ever do. It's either Steadicam or, you know, the camera is more like locked down or on like, you know, wheels and stuff. And he wanted to actually hold it and wanted to have this like kind of gritty vibe. And I remember, if I remember correctly, Chris Long was like, yeah, we just don't do that on Gilmore Girls. But I remember he was really pleading with him, like, it's going to be really, really subtle. You want, you know, but I just want to.
Are you catching this scene? This is such a sweet scene.
Yeah.
So sweet.
Yeah. I feel so bad for Lane.
Same. And Mama.
Regina wanted Joel to know that Time Bomb is the same song that Lane is dancing to in Rory's bedroom early in an
Oh, yes.
season.
Yeah, I remember.
Yes, now I remember. Okay, thank you.
No Mr. Kim in the bed.
Very good observation
He
there.
probably was going to say that. Yeah.
But that was really sweet, the kiss on the forehead.
Yeah. It's the original coffee shop with Matt.
My gosh, just the Max coffee shop.
And
Always
JP
weird.
looks a little bit like Max.
I wonder if Luke will ever be in this coffee shop with her.
It's in Hartford.
Who says they're ever getting together? Weird.
By the way, I mean, well, I'm not completely convinced that they are separated. We don't know for sure, but if they are separated, I did predict that they were going to get separated. I just want to say it. Want to throw it out there.
You did. But you have my kernels for that.
Yeah, during the Apple meeting.
I hope you caught that.
He's suing him. I also told him to sue Richard. He listened to him.
You always know there's something coming too when one character is just monologuing it.
Whoa. Whoa.
I can't blame her for that though.
I can't
Oh, my
believe that
goodness.
she's drawn that line in the sand. I'm actually surprised.
Yeah, it's a switch for Lorelai for sure.
That's a pretty big line, though. Suing him.
Why didn't she give him back the talking key?
That
Maybe
was
she
awesome.
just doesn't want that much drama when she's
Not
trying
the
to
right.
bring her in.
I don't even think
All right, everybody, we're gonna open up the couch. Let some other folks come on up here
Even pay for her
and
coffee.
chat with us.
So, John, while you're doing that, I have a question because
Yeah.
I have no idea on this, truthfully, besides just what I've seen. But like, is 5 months? I feel like that's the experimental time. Like, you don't really want to necessarily tell your family about a relationship within the first 5 months.
But she was
You're
dating her
asking
dad's
me- you're
business
asking me that.
partner.
Just anybody in general.
The business partner aspect of it, though.
This is a buddy. That's true.
I think it depends on the people in the relationship. To me, that's a significant amount of time that would seem like a long enough time to me.
I think it depends on the family too.
I think it's the business partner aspect though too, like Rachel was saying, because Jason was working with her father and they were kind of sneaking around in a way.
Oh, yeah, that's true. I didn't think about that. That's all I was curious about. Because, like, I know in my realm of the world, kind of a thing, like, you know, ministry school people meet and they're engaged like 3 weeks later. So.
Oh God,
Really? Really?
You'd be shocked. Well, I mean, it's kind of like a joke, but, like, kind of not at the same time. You know, like, usually they're engaged and married within, like, 6 months of dating. So I just wasn't sure if it was like 5 months was like the trial period and like. a
But
normal
if you
relationship.
remember correctly, back in, I believe it was season 1, Emily got on Lorelai's case because Rory had a 3-month anniversary. And when was Lorelai's last 3-month anniversary?
Yeah, that's true.
Oh yeah.
I don't know. They're like really rude to her about all of her relationships and about a lot of things in her life, and then get mad at her when she doesn't feel comfortable enough to share that with them. It's like,
I agree with that too.
they need to, if you want your daughter to want to share things with you, you need to be, you know, a safer space for her. You can't get upset because of the situation created.
But she
And within your
she chose her dad's business partner though to date at the same time. If she wants to be completely on her own and do her own things, then don't choose your dad's business partner and hide it.
Well, and if you remember correctly, when she first started going out with Digger after when they went out on that date after the Yale Harvard game, it was to get back at Emily because she knew Emily would be angry.
That's true. I agree with that statement. She did. That's why she agreed to go on the date, because she knew that her mother wouldn't like it. She was mad at her mom at that time.
Yes.
But then she ended up liking Jason. So then she freaked out about her parents actually knowing, because she thought they would ruin it. So it doesn't mean it's right to not tell them, but I think she didn't handle it very well.
Oh, I totally agree. Completely unrelated, but I just want to get back to the time bomb thing. For anybody else who was wondering, it's actually from the Cinnamon's Wake episode. Lane is actually skanking in Rory's room, and she says that her mother thinks that she's sitting on a park bench pondering the reunification of the two Koreas. So that's all I wanted to say.
And that it's also, they use that scene in the opening credits. That was one of the trivia questions.
Yeah.
That episode. Whoa.
I also think it's interesting that if it's been 5 months and Christopher knew Digger, that hasn't come up at all. That Christopher either knows about Digger or that, you know, they reminisce about being old buddies.
Yeah, and Christopher is pretty absent.
Well, they weren't old buddies. They weren't old buddies. Like, wasn't it that like that Christopher like held Digger's head in the toilet at one point.
Yeah, Christopher bullied him at camp.
Bully.
Yeah, I was gonna say they went to camp together, which is understandable because they were on the same circle. And
Yeah, they were in the same circle, but I never got a sense that Christopher ever liked Digger.
no, I don't think so either.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be very interesting his reaction to Lorelai dating Digger.
Lorelai actually says he hated you.
Oh, okay.
yes,
Right.
right.
Yes, yes. Yeah.
So, one thing that I will say is that somebody mentioned it at the very end when Lorelai was walking out, and I think we're going to sort of freeform our way through topics tonight. I'm sort of feeling like we just talk about the episode and wherever it goes. So this is just the first thing that came to mind is, I can't remember who it was that said, I can't believe that Lorelai's drawing that line, about her family, right? Because so much of what we've seen so far is her, animosity towards that whole world and her parents and all of that kind of stuff, right? But it does show how different, because early on, there was also this comparison where it was like, oh, but Digger is so similar to Lorelai. Like he's such a similar character. He's got similar wit. He's got, he can kind of hang on her level, and he also has the same issue with his family. And this is a moment where you see how different they really are, because she does draw that line and he doesn't. And we knew that from the beginning of that character.
Yeah, I was gonna jump in and just say, like, that I think is the core difference. Like, everything Lorelai does is in opposition to her parents. Like, the worst thing in the world for her is to be like Emily or Richard. And I really feel like she sees Digger as being like Richard and like stooping to his level in a way and doing the thing that he would do. And that's the line she draws. I don't really think it's anything but that,
I think she loves her
Correct.
dad even when she's not getting along with him, and she doesn't want to see her parents sued or hurt by, especially her boyfriend.
I actually
It was
think though,
great.
I think it's more about Digger being like her father than, standing up for her father. I kind of feel like it's more Lorelai to just be like, nope, I love my parents, but I will not be them. So, I feel like if they're going to be in a long-term relationship, she can't be with somebody who is just like her father.
But she doesn't say that. I mean, what she specifically says is, I can't be with somebody who's suing my family. And well, I know that you could also interpret that as, I can't be with the type of person who would sue my family, because that's the type of person my dad is. I think that you could also take it at face value. Like, I can't be with somebody who is actually suing like my world.
I
So
absolutely
actually-
take it at face value.
I had a question that I was sort of thinking about, and I wanted to kind of present to the group sort of regarding this. But I always kind of wondered if Richard was just, naive and not realizing that if he were to go after Digger the way that he did, that he would have to leave, and then therefore end his relationship with Lorelai. Like, if he was just really naive about that and didn't expect that to happen, or if he knew that would happen and was using it to kind of punish her.
I don't think he cares though, because his pension's on the line, their livelihood, what he's worked all his life, their fortune. I think that's just unfortunate, some carnage from him keeping his livelihood. And so I don't know. I just think that it's unfortunate that happened, but a 5-month relationship compared to like his pension, their house, their lifestyle, I just think that's just so.
Yeah, I agree with that.
So I just like, I noticed though, like, sort of like, I definitely agree with all of that, but I also feel like as soon as Emily kind of approached him, he kind of addressed that their livelihood was on the line, but he spent more of the conversation focusing on basically how he seems like to have thought all of this through. Like, no, Rory's not going to go anywhere because, and basically, like, if Rory doesn't go anywhere, then Lorelai's not. Like, he seemed like he had already kind of thought through, basically this whole.
I heard it differently, Stacey. I heard him saying, we're not going to be able to control Lorelai, and I'm not going to base any of my actions on how it will affect her. And I think a part of it is because she lied. Like, I think that because she lied ties into it. She didn't care to base her actions on how we will feel. So I'm not going to base my action on how she feels. I think that's that's how I read Rachel.
Well, let me ask you then: had she been more forthright, had she like displayed, these, the type of, had she displayed these characteristics of somebody who cares more about her family than herself, would he have not done that?
I don't think it would have gotten where it got, because he would not have been as disappointed. He is super angry with Digger right now, and that anger is driving him. I don't know that it would have gotten there.
I don't know. He strikes me in this episode as this is who Richard can be.
Can we go back to this scene of Emily and Richard in the study? And I feel like that look that Emily gave to Richard was Emily's line in the sand. And I don't want to give anything away, but that was a super important scene.
Yeah, I actually want to talk a little bit about that scene and then the sort of comedy of the next scene. First, I'd just like to ask the group, without spoiling me on what's to come, can you remember back to when you watched this episode, whether you felt convinced that they were actually separated or that you weren't completely sure? Like, flash your mics if you felt like at this point pretty convinced that they were separated, but needed to watch more, and how many were kind of like, I don't have enough here, I need to. So first, the ones who were convinced that they were separated. Okay, and then those who just were like, I still need a little bit more to be totally certain. Yeah, that's where I'm at right now. And the tone of that storyline of the breakup beat type or whatever that's going on here feels so different from that study scene, as well as everything that we've seen so far with Richard and his anger and the lawsuit, that I was actually a little thrown off by it, because I was having a hard time connecting the two, and I know that they connect at that study, that's where these two worlds kind of are meant to connect, but I guess I didn't totally feel it.
I think Richard didn't thought about how his actions generally would affect Emily, that's like Lorelai. He was acting like selfish. Now that I'm thinking back about it, I don't know what you guys think, but I think it's kind of selfish. Yeah, I'm not. He didn't thought about how what he was doing was affecting Emily, was affecting Lorelai.
I think his view was pretty myopic on that, and he was just concerned about how it affected him. But as far as like the separation thing, I remember at the time thinking that Emily just got a bee in her bonnet and decided to go away for the night. I don't know if I thought it would be anything more than that, but I remember in that episode just thinking she was really angry at Richard and just had to be away from him.
Yeah, that's sort of what my interpretation of it is. I just feel like I've seen situations where Emily is at odds with Richard, and it didn't feel particularly different. Like the study didn't feel like I'm seeing something drastically different. And I guess that's important, because if they had made that scene feel like that this is a real turning point, then the next scene wouldn't have been quite as fun as it was, right? Because like we really have to, in order for that scene to be as like, what is going on? You kind of can't see it coming. But the flip side of that is that I have a hard time completely like buying that shift or not buying it. I have a hard time connecting the two because I have seen Richard and Emily at odds on certain things and big things too.
Yeah. I agree. That scene in the study, it just didn't seem like there was enough behind it to warrant anything that big or drastic as a reaction.
But you have to think of everything that's come before that too. The situation with,
Fenelon.
What are we calling her? Fenelon.
Fenelon.
Fenelon lot.
Oh yeah.
Emoji. Then everything like with the lunch, and then there was the thing with the apples and just her not feeling her worth. So I think this is more like if you look at just the stuff beforehand and trying not to look, and not knowing what that comes after, if anything comes after, whether it's resolved or not, you have to say this has kind of been building up to something. And then I also have to think, why were they surprised? Try to look at me about it. Like, would he like? Is she going away for the night? Would they be people like to save face? They just wanted to hide it, or would he, if like she was just going away for the night, would Richard be the type of person that'd be like, oh, your mother is having a fit or something like that, and she'll be back. Here, have a drink or something. So I find myself asking those questions.
Yeah, I definitely think that, we're led to believe that they are separated because they spent a lot of time this season focusing on like little kind of cracks in their marriage. And this was just sort of like the straw that broke the camel's back.
I also heard a challenge in there. When Richard was talking to Emily, it was like, let me handle this. I know what I am doing. And like dismissing her insights into Lorelai and Rory. And so me being the type of person I am, which is more Lorelai, that's a challenge to me. Oh, you know what you're doing? Well, I'll show you that I know what I'm doing too.
I'm sorry, did I miss somebody saying this already? But the parallel between Lorelai breaking up with Jason over Jason wanting to sue Richard and Emily being mad and going to a hotel over Richard interfering with Lorelai's love life in a way. I mean, she's upset because she thinks what Richard's doing is going to upset Lorelai, and Lorelai will leave. And Lorelai is leaving Jason because she's upset that he wants to sue the family. And it's like they're both upset about the same issue, but from different sides. Or am I just seeing that differently? You're wrong.
That's interesting. I hadn't really thought about it, but I mean that is there. Yeah,
that's a good perspective.
This also felt like a big parallel to me with the argument that Richard and Emily had during the Bracebridge dinner episode, because it was him making a decision about his work and not including her in it. And so was this. So I don't know. I think it's interesting. We're seeing kind of that play out again, but after a lot of things have happened in between.
Right, but he's getting sued. I mean, he's getting sued and potentially could lose everything. And so I think he's trying to protect what he's built and their lifestyle. And I think she sees it more as she doesn't want to chase Lorelai away, but I don't know if she really understands what's at stake, and maybe he hasn't explained it to her. She knew about the pension comment, but maybe she just doesn't know what's at stake because they could lose everything with this lawsuit and do something. And so I think, although he's not likable in this episode, and we could all say, maybe he can figure something else out, but his back is against the wall, and there's so much at stake here. And I don't know. I just don't see that they're just seeing it too complete. He's seeing it all business, and she's seeing it more as how this would affect Lorelai, and then maybe how Rory would be chased.
Right. That's really interesting.
I agree. I think the only piece that's left out of that for me is that he doesn't consult with Emily about that, just him making that decision on some. But I agree. I agree with you about pretty much all that stuff too.
I think that's because he's never had to consult with Emily when it comes to business in the past. She's never been involved with the actual business, but she supported him as a wife in doing parties and gatherings for his business. But when it comes to actual business decisions, she's never really been involved in that. So it wouldn't occur to him to really talk to her about it. And I just want to say, I didn't say this yesterday, but I always kind of thought this, that I don't see how Jason didn't see that something like this could potentially happen. I mean, he was trying to kind of get back at his dad. He was being underhanded towards his father. And then, of course, he knows what his father's like. Why wouldn't his father do something like this? And if he knew Richard all those years, supposedly Richard was a really good businessman. Why wouldn't he expect maybe Richard would go back into business with his father and do something like this if he felt like what Jason was doing was threatening his own livelihood? I just always kind of wondered about that. And I'm not saying Jason deserves it, but I think it's a risk he took, whether he was aware of it or not.
Yeah, I actually agree with that as well. Just really quick, Sabine, I'm trying to bring you up onto the couch, and we've got that same issue where it's just stuck. You have to come back, leave the room, come back in, and you'll be able to get back on.
Can I springboard off what the three of you were saying and then actually put on a tinfoil hat for a second? What if
Absolutely.
Richard did consider what Lorelai was going to do, and maybe he just doesn't care because evidence shows when she was 16, Lorelai is going to do what Lorelai is going to do, and he has such a bond with Rory now. They've made a deal for Friday night dinners, helping out with college and everything like that. I mean, we know that Rory is pretty much like the apple of his eye, but what if he just doesn't care and he's considered she's going to do what she's going to do, but at least hopefully Rory can make her own decisions because she's a college girl now. She went to Yale. She's following in her grandfather's footsteps. Maybe he thinks she's going to make her own decisions, then he's banking on that. But and also at the end of the day, business is still business. Just
Yeah,
Rory
I agree with
tied
that.
to the Friday night dinners, right? Because she made the agreement and the loan and stuff on the day of her graduation to Emily and Richard, right? So it was only her, and I think she mentioned this before, that she was only one tied to these Friday night dinners because that was the agreement. Lorelai technically isn't, right? And so sorry, Zach, I'm just like springboarding off your comment as well because I was just thinking about that. But yeah, sorry. Stacey, go ahead.
So yeah, I was just gonna say, I think that's maybe also part of the reason why it seemed almost like calculating to me, like he had already knew this was going to happen and had, kind of made peace with it almost.
But at the end of the day, Richard's livelihood is Rory's livelihood. And so he is so upset about how he will lose the ability to pay for Yale and be able to provide her an apartment while she starts out, or anything that he could ever dream of giving her in her lifetime. So I think he has thought about all that, and this is what it came to.
Good.
Hey,
Tiffany
Sandra
is flashing down at the bottom.
Yeah.
And also Harvest, guys.
Yeah,
Your
Tiffany.
Kornels will be ready.
Tiffany. Man, wow, harvesting literally at 8:15 on the nose, huh?
Also, you left our Marcus timer going. It's at like an hour or something.
Sorry, hold on.
We're still.
No, it's not a big deal.
Does it matter?
I
It
was
doesn't
trying
really.
to find.
No, it doesn't really matter
where
at
in the
all.
episode-
It doesn't matter at all. But I could see it annoying people. It would annoy me. So I'll turn that off. But Tiffany, what are your thoughts?
Well, first I want to apologize for any noise. It's really hot here, so I have to have the fan on. So I hope it's not too loud. But I think that they feel that Lorelai is like frivolous with her relationship. So I think in his mind, it wouldn't be a serious relationship anyway with Jason. And they've made comments before about her not settling down. So I think it wouldn't be worth it to him to like lose his livelihood for someone who she may not be with. And I think that he would have sued Jason even if he wasn't dating Lorelai, because it was like his livelihood. I think that was just kind of like another twist in his side, but I still think that the same outcome would have happened even if he wasn't dating Lorelai.
Sandra is flashing, and then I have a comment to respond to.
I just wanted to say that for how many years Emily was in the background in Richard's business. She took care of his social calendar and made sure he knew everybody's names. But this is one of the first times that we saw that her plans for the party, that they were going to go to AC instead, and how that affected her social pieces that she's been so used to taking care of for him. And I think that she was afraid that Lorelai would walk away or think that she was somehow being held responsible, because you saw in the previous episode how upset Emily was, so she was petrified that she would potentially lose her girls again over something that she had no control over.
Yeah. I'm with you on this.
I was gonna say about Tiffany, you brought something up and it percolated in my head. The biggest irony is that I think had Richard, Emily maybe not so much, but had Richard known that they were dating, they would have been super happy that Lorelai picked Jason, because she's picked someone from their world. She's picked someone of their status, and he would have absolutely seen him as his next in line, that, you know, Richard can build something to pass on to Jason, and then Jason's going to take care of his family for him.
To build up,
and now he's destroying all possibilities of that happening.
Ooh, that is so brilliant. I didn't even think about that. But
My mind's blown.
why is Lorelai? Why did Lorelai not tell them that? It's very obvious. It's for those exact reasons that she probably didn't tell them
Exactly.
that. She does not want them to think you're with the type of person, you know, like that's exactly who they want her with. And that's exactly who she doesn't want them to want her to, you know, she wants them to, I mean, it sounds kind of crazy, but it feels like that is at least somewhat part of her motivation in not wanting to let them know. She does not want them gloating about that fact. She doesn't want them to behave as you're describing, giving him, you know, like, you know, leaving stuff to him, taking care of the family, all of that. Like, she doesn't like that world, but she does seem to legitimately like Digger. So she's in that like weird dilemma where.
Sorry, John. I'm sorry.
No worries. Go on. I was rambling.
I was just gonna say, I definitely can see all of that, and we can see that she has, fallen for Digger, but I feel like the motivation somehow changed, in the season, because I feel like at first, she was with Digger to, make her mom mad, and so I feel like why would that make her mom mad? Except she knew that her mom didn't like him and probably didn't want her with him. And obviously it changed later to the fact that, she was actually falling for them and then kind of falling for him and then kind of afraid to keep it from them because maybe she realized that, at some point they may want her to be with him. But I feel like somehow there was a change in her motivation.
I think it's just that her reaction, her mom's reaction from her being with Christopher, and then it ended so abruptly, and she just didn't want to face the fact that might happen again. I think that's why she hid her relationship. Yeah, that's what I think.
I think we may be forgetting that Lorelai was attracted to Digger before, like when she first met him. But she met him in defending her mother. So I actually think it's the opposite. I think she didn't go out with Digger when it first started because her mother hated him. And then when she got mad at her mother, she was like, okay, fine, no matter what. Like, I like him, my mom hates him, but I like him, and now I'm mad at her, I'm gonna go out with him.
Wait a second. Wait a second. When did she find him? When was she interested in him? I remember the first thing she walked in, she was like, Digger. She's like, oh, hi, Digger.
But that original fight, she was like, I can't believe you're hitting on me, but it was clear there was an attraction there. And then every time he called, he kept saying, I keep calling, I keep saying, and she talks to Rory, and Rory's like, what's happening? She's like, nothing is happening, but he hasn't stopped.
I don't.
But there was, I totally see that now. You completely changed my mind.
Really? I still don't see it. I never ever saw chemistry or interest in him more than what he could provide, that lifestyle that he could provide. I never saw early on Lorelai actually having attraction, a real attraction to him. I think she was fascinated by this guy who was trying so hard, and she was interested in his lifestyle, but I mean, am I in the minority there? I guess I'm.
Me too, and they were childhood friends, or they knew each other from childhood. So I think part of that was just seeing someone from your past, and now they've grown up, and he's kind of being swarmy and just kind of. I don't think that it was an attraction. Like she's like, oh, maybe I'll date him. I don't think it was like that. I think it was just kind of seeing somebody from your past.
Yeah, I think the first time.
wished that she didn't find him attractive, though.
Sorry, Sherry.
That's okay.
I was just gonna say, the first time I noticed that she maybe had any interest in dating him is when he pointed out that dating him would really bother her mother, and then she kind of like was like, oh yeah, but then she still said no after that initially.
Yeah. And also, you know, when he started telling her about the things that he could get, you know, the access he had to certain things, then she kind of peaked. And then maybe probably coupled that with, this guy's trying really hard. He must really like me.
Just
like
flattered.
Yeah, flattery and whatnot. But I, when she first walked in and they mentioned his name, she was like, "Who? Oh, Digger." You know, like it's like I just could imagine them as kids, and that guy being the last person on earth that she would ever imagine dating in her entire life. You know, he just like, I'm imagining the type of kid who was probably really annoying, and like the kind of kid that Christopher would eventually just dunk his head into the toilet.
She got everybody to call her umlaut.
Yeah. I think
He was the guy. He was the boy in every class. I'm sorry, guys. He was the boy in every class. That, oh, this guy bothers me so much. Like Jen said, we finally.
He strikes me as the type of kid that was snapping every girl's bra.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Right? Just coming up behind him and just snapping.
I am
you know.
so glad I'm not the only one that felt that way.
I really thought Lorelai was surprised when she
Totally
realized that she
yes.
liked Jason more than just just going on a date out of spite. I always thought she was kind of surprised at how much she liked him initially, but I don't know.
Feel.
I mean, it looks like she didn't like him enough.
I really think she couldn't be with somebody who's doing her family. That's what I always believed, and I still mostly believe that. I mean, it's interesting to hear the other perspective, but I don't think I could date somebody that I wasn't in. I mean, they were kind of in a serious relationship, but I don't think I could really continue a relationship with somebody who said they're going to sue my father.
But it's
no
okay
matter
for what her father did, though.
I'm not saying that was okay either. I'm just saying, you know, he's a lot younger than Richard, and like Rachel was saying earlier, Richard has a lot to lose.
To be fair, I'm just playing devil's advocate.
Oh yeah, I
But
totally
you
get
know,
that.
Lorelai went and fought with her father, so it's not like she thought it was okay for her father to do it. It's just I don't think she can sever the same ties with her father or for Jason. I don't think she's willing to do that.
Right.
Again, do that again.
Or what would Rory say if she kept dating Jason? Would she think that Rory would support it? Probably not.
That's a good point.
Yeah, I feel like this also sort of just shows like an evolution of Lorelai's character, because I feel like if, you know, something along these lines had happened more towards the beginning, like in the first season, like if Digger existed in the first season, I feel like she would probably still continue to date them. But, you know, this happening now in the fourth after they've had years of starting to develop this relationship, I feel like this shows like her relationship with her parents changed.
Yes, good point.
Yeah, I think I see it like, you know, we've seen it over and over again, that how they stick up for family. You know, it's kind of like that. You know, I can pick on my little sister, but you can't. Like, I'm gonna kick your butt if you touch my little brother, my little sister. I think it's the same type of feeling. Like, you know, we may not get along, and I may be angry with them and try to take jabs, but if you come after my family, then that's it.
Yeah, I kind of felt the same way. Like, where it's like I'm the only one who's allowed to make fun of my family. You're not allowed to do that. That's how I kind of interpreted that, for sure. Just by the way, just unrelated, I just RSVP'd to my first event, because I've only been hosting these. And finally Mary's event is within the 3-day window, and I got to RSVP, and I got to see my little Kornels starting to sprout.
Yeah. Can I tell you that I could RSVP to my event too? I kept going, where's the RSVP button? And then realized, oh wait, it's me.
Yeah, it's cool. It's fun. That's really the first time that I've done it, and I was like, oh, this is kind of fun.
Oh, that's adorable.
I love that. Keep her streak as a host.
She does not keep her streak as a host. She loses it unless some good person decides to create an event.
The community's got to represent so that Mary still gets a decent amount of.
So we can make a fake event just so that Mary can.
What do you want?
Well, I mean, you can hack the system. You can do all kinds of weird hacks to the system. But I would just say that, like, with all of the chats that I know many of you do on Clubhouse throughout the day, like, you could put one of those into the calendar, give it a theme, and there you go. You've got an event for people to harvest kernels from.
Oh, never thought about that.
Is Richard a Disney villain? That'll be the next.
Hey, just to ask, are there kernels now? Because I think I've been having trouble. Like, I've been RSVPing to everything, and I don't see them now.
I know you're only getting half of the game mechanic, Sabrina.
No, I RSVP'd and I know how to do it. I'm not seeing them.
You don't see the little green button on the right when you go into the event?
You might have got logged out, because that happened to me when I was trying.
Yeah. Oh, I see. I think I got logged out. Never mind.
No worries.
Sorry, Sabine, can you mute?
Oh, Sabine, you got under the couch. I for the longest time you were sitting there.
Sorry.
And I was trying to tell you, like, hey, I'm trying to bring you up. Yeah. So what else here? We can't. We can't. Well, Zane, we also got to talk about Asher and Rory.
I've been waiting for
Oh yeah, John. The question: do you think Asher was telling the truth on why he gave Rory the 8, or do you
Yes. Do you think he was telling 100% truth? Do you feel like he really, genuinely, 100% gave her an A because of all the things that he said?
I don't really know. I kind of feel like it may be a combo because he.
I think Rory's really intelligent and certainly has the capability. I think that guy does not give people A's. I think that he looks for reasons to, knock people down a notch. He strikes me as that type of person. And in this situation, when backed against the wall, being accused of what he was being accused of, and knowing full well that she's totally right, he then, like, sort of reshaped his typical approach to grading papers. Not that her paper wasn't worth an A. I just am not completely convinced that she would have gotten the A from him had he not been creeping on her.
Can I
disagree?
No, I think it's the one time that she was put in her place.
Really? You don't think he was creeping?
I know that.
Can I convince
Let him
you
know.
that it's just, he had his points, the way he talked about her paper, and it's not like it was out of the blue.
That's why I
John,
pointed out both.
Yeah,
And
John,
I
I
was just like,
actually
why?
agree with you, John.
I agree.
I agree, because I sort of feel like, I'm sure her paper was actually pretty good, and probably in any other professor's class, maybe she would have gotten an A or a B, but just the way the other students were talking, it just seemed like he doesn't obviously give the A's out very often. And we've never really seen, at least up to this point, like Rory being more kind of self-deprecating. Like, she really doubted how she did on this paper. So
I thought the best part about Rory was that even when he kind of tried to put her in her place, I actually was proud that she walked out of the room kind of with like a, no, don't try it. I know what you're doing.
It actually made me mad that she was doing that to him. Like, I don't know. It just didn't feel right.
Did you feel like Anna, did you feel like he was at all creeping on her? Like, do you feel like
I just thought that it was her being, I don't know, affected by Paris's grade and Paris's, her friendship. I just thought that was all affected by that, and it made me upset. I was like, no, I don't think so. I think Rory is smart, and I think she probably got that grade.
I do think she's smart. I do think that the paper was probably awesome, and I think that in any other class it would have gotten an A. And I also think that he knows why it would get an A in another class, like he does. He obviously rattled off everything about that paper that was amazing, right? But he just, maybe it's just how I feel about the character in general, that he's like dating a new student every year, that he has all these freshmen fawning over him. He strikes me as somebody who's sort of holding that power. Like he knows everything about all of the things that are great about a great paper, but that doesn't necessarily mean he's going to give an A. And I think it's mostly just because of what I've seen about the character outside of that. And also, by the way, the very end, when she said what she said as she walked out of the room.
Get out of there. No.
No?
She was very picked up.
Everything okay?
I think someone might be trying to hit a dog unmuted.
Oh, okay.
Sorry, I was reprimanding Kirk, and I didn't realize that when I was flashing that my mic was still on.
I was like, I thought I was being reprimanded, and I was like, nope.
He was
down,
trying to
John.
steal my dick.
Down. You do not talk about Asher Fleming like that. Down, John.
But that was an imitation of that. You can talk about Asher however you want, because for me, he's basura.
He is basura. But I think that it was telling there at the very end as well, when she walked out and she said what she said. His reaction to it was pretty telling, right? I mean, that didn't look like a guy who was like, that looked like a guy who knew he had been caught, and he was sort of frustrated by it.
That looks like
Regina's
flash off guard.
It was like, what are you doing? Like, I'm a professor and I know what I've been doing for these past few years, and just because this one person has done this, I don't know.
Right.
I don't feel it.
He should have stayed behind the desk the whole time.
And probably because I've been watching Gilmore Girls for like the past 10 years.
that looks like a guy who was caught off guard by a very inappropriate comment. Sorry, Anna. I thought that was very disgusting of Rory to say. I think her approaching Asher to talk about the grade is all good and well, right? Like, as any college student would, you know. And in the series, like, we have noticed, like, Rory has always been built to be this, has been built and perceived and portrayed as a very intelligent person from the very jump, right? I think her going into that meeting with the idea, like the underlying theme that she got an A because she was like friends with Paris was quite frankly disgusting and inappropriate. And I think that is why I didn't like the way that she approached Asher about it. It's not the fact that she approached him about the grade in general. It's the fact that she thought in her head, like, oh, it's because I'm buddy with Paris and Asher's seeing Paris. That's why I got the grade. And that's how that whole meeting started. And then to end that meeting off with her saying that the redhead has fat thighs or whatever she said, highly inappropriate.
That
was
what made me think.
Her comment, I think, was inappropriate from the standpoint of calling out that other girl. But I didn't interpret it that way, though, Regina. I didn't interpret it that she thought that she was getting the A because she was friends with Paris. I thought that she was worried that he was doing the same to her that he does to other young women.
No.
That's what I was going to say. That was my devil's advocate perspective.
No.
I
thought about that.
The quote about Paris. She mentions the quote about Paris because she's reminding him, I know I'm friends with Paris and you're with Paris.
Exactly.
That's not why I want my break.
Yeah, she mentions that.
Okay, got it. Okay, all right.
Yeah, but I think she sees it from that perspective, but I guess, and I'm not saying that I think this way or I agree with it, but I think some people could interpret it as, you know, was he giving her the A as a way to get into her pants?
That is how I interpreted it. That
That's
really
fine.
truly is how I interpreted it.
I have an interesting thought on that. Imagine that was the case, that he was like using that as trying to get an in on hooking up with her, and then Paris finding out that he was interested in Rory. Whether Rory showed any interest back or not, can you imagine the shitstorm that would have caused?
Oh yeah, sure. Sorry. Turned it on right when sorry. Yes. Zachary?
Oh, sorry, I wasn't, okay, no, I'm ready now. So there were some interesting points. A lot of people think that, oh, he's a professor, you know, he knows what he's looking for. That may be true, but he has this history. It's pretty evident with other girls like him, everything like that. Even if he is a professor and and he does have this history of doing this, the fact of the matter is, and I hate to put this label on him, but once a predator, always a predator. He knows what he's looking for in the paper. He knows what kind of girls to go after because he's been doing it for so long. He knows what to say. He knows how to woo them. He knows how to make them feel good. And he even knows when to feign that his feelings are hurt, which he may have been doing in his interaction with Rory, because, you know, he wasn't going to get anywhere like confronting her, but he took the approach, okay, I'm going to act like a wounded animal. So
yeah, that's sort of where I'm at with it. I mean, my feelings about him are just really tainted by what I've seen from him so far. I've mentioned this before. I feel like the amount of power that he wields over young women is really weird. And so how can I not come into that scene feeling like Rory is that her intuition is right? Because my intuition is I have the same intuition that Rory has coming into the scene.
Anna,
Anna, can you just mute when you're not speaking, because you have a lot of background noise?
I was going to ask the group, didn't Doyle say that like Asher's like very infamous for dating like a first year girl like every year?
Yes.
So
yes.
Wouldn't Paris see that girl, even though nobody knows about it yet? Wouldn't Paris see that girl? I don't think like Asher, given that reputation that he has built, would switch on that early in the game, you know, to someone else. So that's why I never viewed that interaction as him trying to like creep up on Rory and trying to get into her pants or whatever like that. I thought that he was genuinely giving her the grade, you know, because of the way that he described Rory's paper and how excellent it was, and how PhD candidates would be jealous of drawing all these connections, this, that, the other, you know, that sort of thing. So that's what I was thinking, and I kind of wanted to throw that out into the group.
I think that's entirely possible, but we don't know.
I don't know. I think a guy who has a reputation of dating a different girl every year doesn't seem too far off from dating two maybe that year, or, you know, dating one and also hooking up with another. I mean, it really doesn't feel like it's like that big of a jump, the idea that he would be flirting with another girl, another freshman that he's attracted to.
Here's why I think I could see your point on that, John. He came out from behind his desk to kind of come around closer to her, and she backed up a little in talking to him. And it wasn't until he felt like she was implying something that he didn't want her to think that he went back around his desk to lecture her about how good her paper was.
Ooh, that is really...
I love the body language usage there.
That is amazing. I did not even think of that. That's pretty interesting. But that's also just so you know, that is direct. That is like the actor and the director likely, because that's probably like a blocking thing, which I just want to, you know, just point that out. You know, that's just some good directing and likely also acting, you know.
Because you guys notice how she kind of started hugging her books more when he came out from the desk, like closer up to her chest and stuff like that. And I had never really thought about it in the past, but because we were watching it together and people were kind of making comments, I started paying more attention to it.
Well,
But
he's
then
also
again,
friends
that's
with her
also why she
grandfather.
mentioned Paris. What do you think Paris felt about this? Like, wasn't this like her man? What about
Good.
her?
Yeah, I mean that's. I think that that's probably part of what makes this so complicated and so icky and so difficult. You know, I think that like, I mean, I don't know, but my sense is this is not going to end well for Paris. You know, like I really think that this is going to be bad. I mean, we already know he dates different girls every year, so that sounds to me like Paris is probably going to, you know, be disappointed when the year is over at the very least.
But really,
I don't know.
Paris, is she so dumb that she'd let herself do that?
That she would let herself. I mean,
Yeah,
she would have no choice.
let that happen to herself.
Oh, I mean, that's already happened to her in the past. I mean, she's already had situations where she didn't get what she wanted, even though she wanted it. You know, like I mean, I actually think that Paris is completely clueless of what's going on. I think she's completely clueless that at the end of the year she's done. That's I mean, again though, Anna, you've watched the series, so you know what's coming. I'm just telling you how I feel from right now. From right now, it feels like Paris, as smart as she is like that her vision is completely clouded by all of this.
I think that Paris also was kind of proud that other girls were kind of macking on her man, so to say, like we're up there wanting his attentions and things. She likes that because she kind of pointed it out. But
here's the thing is that like we haven't, you know, if I was gonna think that like, oh, maybe this will be that story of the young girl and the professor who fall in love and they actually live a wonderful life together. You know, they get married and, you know, because it happens. Some members of our community have mentioned that their family, that they have that in their family as well, and that's possible. The only thing that tells me that it's not in this story possible is that we haven't gotten any real sense, any human sense of their relationship. They haven't spent any time with the two of them in settings where we can get to like him and see how he really feels about Paris. Everything is just from Paris's perspective, which just tells me that her perspective is clouded.
what a fun conversation that was. I never thought into that particular scene.
Well, that was really good.
Oh, was that fun? I thought you were being sarcastic. Like, what a fun conversation.
No, it is fun. I mean, I seriously never really thought much more beyond that. I thought he gave her an A because of the reasons he gave her. But during the episode, you guys were kind of saying things, and I started thinking about more. And then after talk, it's a lot of fun. This is what I like about the group.
It's all, you know, and again, it's like I'm not taking anything away from Rory, but it's sort of similar to that thing where I said, like, you know, the idea that Rory would get into Yale and get into Harvard and get a scholarship and all, you know, it's like you're starting like it starts to get a little unbelievable for me, right? And the idea that this guy never gives people A's and Rory happens to get the A, it just sort of continues this narrative of like Rory is just the golden child. She's the one who always gets amazing grades and gets this and gets that and all that. And for me, that just doesn't feel real enough, you know? And I think that there are like the complexity, what makes that interesting to me is the idea that there would be complexity there, that yes, she wrote an awesome paper, that in most classes it would probably get an A, that he knows why it would get an A, and he's tracked every single part of that essay and understands it and knows how to use it in a conversation like this. For me, that just feels more interesting.
She was one of 2 A's though, just so that in case you didn't catch that.
I did catch that. I'm wondering who the other A is, but you know, I'm guessing Paris is not in her class. Is in his class, is he?
No, I don't think so.
But it's just, I mean, I don't know. Like, like I'm just throwing my theories out there. Like, it's possible that it is wrong. You know, like I can't get into his head, into the character's head. I can only, you know, sort of interpret what I'm seeing, and that's sort of how I interpret it. But it's absolutely possible, Anna, that it's not what I'm saying.
Before I say something, is anyone flashing right now?
No.
Were you flashing?
Noticed that. I was about to take a screenshot. There was like a while where just nobody was flashing, or it was just sort of like intense, and it seemed like really intently listening.
Could we switch over and talk about Lane, the band?
Yeah, I just had one last thing about that topic. I just thought it was very, very fascinating that you said a lot of things were happening for Roy. It seemed like she was the golden child, and it started to become unbelievable for me. I've actually, for anyone that watched Gilmore Girls, I haven't heard anyone say that about Rory. I'd hear complaints about Rory for like the later seasons, but not about her being so good in academics.
Oh no, that's what I was getting at earlier, and I was going to say that I agreed with you, John. Like when I mentioned that there's no doubt that she would get the A. I mean, look at her track record, right? Like she was the only one working on the assignment at Stars Hollow High when she was still there, right? She got accepted to Chilton. She gets there, she's behind. She not only catches up, but she manages to go through the rest of her time at Chilton and become valedictorian, right? She gets accepted to 3 prestigious Ivy Leagues, right? Yale, Harvard, and Princeton. Okay, and now look at her. She's getting an A. The only other there's 2 people. There's another person who's only got A's. Everybody else got different grades, right? To me, there is no doubt that she would get the A on that paper for the reasons that Asher listed, because that's how she's always been depicted. And not saying that I agree, not saying that it's realistic by any sense of the imagination, or, you know, not tearing down anybody who, you know, is like that or whatever, but that's why. You know,
but let me play devil's advocate, because we've also seen her in this season fumbling like crazy. So this season, of all seasons, would be the season where she wouldn't be on her A game, you know? And so for me, I feel like, and by the way, that to me feels like the most realistic so far of, you know, in terms of the character. I know that like, because she is a special character, and it's hard not to want to see her as somebody who can just absolutely plow through all of these obstacles, because that's what we've sort of been conditioned to believe. But there are, you know, like that's why I said, like I heard there were some people who were questioning like why wouldn't Rory get they were surprised that Rory didn't get a scholarship as well as getting those Ivy League schools. And I'm thinking to myself, are you kidding me? Those Ivy League schools are hard enough to get into. You want her to get a scholarship as well? I do think that there is this tendency to want to imagine that Rory is really, truly a superhero in that regard. And again, like I said, this is not taking away from the paper that she had. It's more speaking to the power that this guy seems to wield, that he seems to give people lower grades than they are, than they're worth, and coupling that with this weird thing that he has where he's like constantly dating young women. I just put it together, and I sort of feel like I don't imagine, I actually think she would have gotten a B+, you know, or an A- or something, you know, something else, but not the A, and that the A has something to do with something else. I actually was interpreting it as him actually creeping on her, but now that you all, you know, sort of convinced me that it might be more her relationship with Paris, but I don't know. I think that it's possible he also could be having an attraction for her as well.
I think that is a great sign to move on to the next topic of the episode.
Let's do it.
Which topic do you want to move on to?
Lane, knowing what size poster you need or what size paper you need to have the right ratio for your band ad.
Hey, Gil doesn't need to know
8x11 paper, okay? Because that's not rock and roll, okay? He's all about rock and roll and the music, man, okay?
But the meatball explosion.
That scene though, when they were going over the flyer, that whole conversation between them, that was hilarious.
Oh, that was gold.
And then when Brian's like, "Oh my God, you better stop saying sandwich."
Well, did you see? There was a shot before I say it. There was a shot of me where you can see me like
you look
throat,
queasy.
like I'm kind of like my I'm swallowing a little bit, like doing some weird acting things that I'm doing there in that scene that are hilarious. I remember my memory of that scene was that scene had a lot of like prop stuff. I remember the props people were really kind of interactive with us there because we had that video game. They had to rewind it. We weren't actually playing the video game. The video game was actually like a video of the video game. So they were like rewinding it back and it was, and then like we're sitting there and like they bring us over like the piece of paper and give it to us. And I feel like they had multiple papers. They gave it to us multiple times because I just remember that scene was just a lot of stuff, of like business.
So is that a real video game? And like words,
I don't know,
the lingo that you were using, like
that's what I was asking.
I
don't know. Does anybody know what that was? That Mortal Kombat? Was that like, or was that like a fake type video game that was created specifically for the show? Like, does anybody know? I really don't know. I don't remember.
I need to go back and stare at it. I don't think I even heard the
It said
I looked at the console, which is a Nintendo.
It said Necron wins. It said Necron wins. Is there a Necron?
If only there was a device where we could look these
where we
things
could
up.
look up the word Necron. Necron video game. Necron video game. Necron.
Winds of War. I'm finding something about it.
You found it? Winds of War. Yeah, that whole thing, that was really just all of that stuff with Lane there at the bar. It's so funny because I remember shooting it, but really having very little understanding of what was actually happening. Like now watching it, I'm like, oh, that was all about Lane. I thought that it was about me and my family eating carrots.
Because what could be more interesting than watching someone eat carrots with a guy dressed as Zorro?
Yeah, no, that was that was sad. That was a lot of la-las there.
So the $1 million question, John, is does cheesecake go with the meatball explosion?
Yes. Cheesecake. I want to say cheesecake goes with pretty much anything.
I don't like cheese. I agree.
Wait, who just said I don't like cheesecake?
Me. Hi. Hello. Ready to
get out of here.
Oh wow. Yeah, I don't know if we can be friends anymore, Lily.
Send them all.
Well,
the best of friends. You buy the cheesecake and I eat it. Send it all.
Yeah, you know what? I don't have problem.
I can make, look, let me tell you, I can cook, I'll make you cheesecake, I'll buy you cheesecake, I just won't eat it. So more for you.
That's actually valid. I love chocolate. My husband doesn't, so he always says that it's beneficial to me because I get more chocolate.
Who here hates
ever
black
watch
licorice? That's my question.
Did you guys ever watch How I Met Your Mother?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they talk about that in that show. And they're like, it's the olive theory that you're supposed to date somebody who doesn't like something that you really like.
Did somebody ask about black licorice?
Yeah.
That's my husband's favorite, the salted kind. Ugh.
Yeah,
Babsy likes it.
I think it's a European thing because he loves all that stuff. I think he started getting a taste for that when he would travel in Europe and stuff.
Babsy, you like black licorice.
Oh God, I love black
Me and Badly would get
It's a
along.
European thing.
The eat the salted kind,
Oh my gosh.
the smell of it makes
Babsy
Oh
will
my God.
Babsy will full on, no joke, Babsy will full on eat those big black jelly beans, the big ones. You know those big ones?
Yeah.
The super sugary one?
Ugh.
Oh,
The
you
black
guys,
jelly beans
does she
and the
there-
pear jelly beans.
Sure as well.
You
That's
guys,
fun.
there's black licorice ice cream in Sweden.
No.
Yes, there is.
When we traveled to Nova Scotia, and my husband still talks about this, and I think my dad would have really liked it. It was orange, like an orange creamsicle ice cream with
An orange Julius.
black licorice swirl.
Black or
Black tiger.
black tiger. Yeah.
Tiger. He loved it. Like
I
Oh my
started
God.
a war. This is funny.
Yeah.
I love loving things that people hate because then nobody will ever touch my food.
It's slash.
That's a good way to go about it, I guess.
I mean, a lot of people make fun of my food anyways because I never have meat on my plate, but you know, more for me.
John, are
I
you?
started a war.
No,
No
Babsy just-
cheesecake, but black licorice. I started.
Babsy just showed me a picture of something that I'm really bummed about. We're going to Joshua Tree to get away from the fireworks, and she just showed me that there is going to be an Independence Day extravaganza, like right near where we're staying.
Oh no.
Awful. I'm sorry.
Maybe
Gabapentin
give the
and
dogs
we
and
like
trazodone.
dog
And
food
we
for
specifically
everything.
went.
Trazodone.
We specifically, yeah, I know, but I mean, we're like, we like are only going out of town for that reason, you know, like we're only leaving town just for the dogs and spending that money just for the dogs, and went to Joshua Tree because there's an ordinance there that you cannot do fireworks. And ugh, man, oh man, why I don't get it. Like I just don't get it. Why? Like why? Why?
Can they wear the
people like
headphones?
fireworks?
Can you
Put on the
rebook
baby.
somewhere else?
the little sound headaches, or what are they called? The headphones. They're like the sound
The noise
dampening or-
canceling.
The noise canceling.
Yeah,
one?
noise canceling. I can't think. It's too late.
I need some of
Well,
those. I've hated fireworks since I was a kid.
John, and I also hear like, you know, your point too, like how can they be allowed to light off fireworks in Joshua Tree? Like that's just
It's just, I mean, it's
They're
just,
probably-
it's definitely like, this is clearly a professional event, and they've gotten, you know, all kinds of permits and all of that, but still, it's like really like, there can't be any place where you go where there's no fireworks.
I wish fireworks would be banned in California altogether, just because our fire seasons are getting so bad.
You think they
Yeah.
would? In my town, we're not
would
allowed to
make
have
sense.
fireworks, but you can hear them like miles off. And you can see them miles off.
Yeah, like in my home state, there's a limit on like what time you can set off fireworks, and it's 10:30 p.m. But apparently California doesn't have that limit. And I learned that last year, like in an unfortunate way, because they kept popping them off to tune out the protests. And it was like fireworks setting off till like 4 or 5 a.m.
Well, we have the limits, but people just don't care about them. We've had people in our neighborhood setting off fireworks every single night for the last year and a half.
Just disgusting.
What?
Just disgusting. I'm sorry, it's just gross. You know, and the worst are the ones that are not even really fireworks. They're just, all they do is make a massive explosive sound.
Yep.
Like,
Yeah,
there's just like no point in it. It's like, we just want something that is as loud as possible.
Can they make like fireworks that are like pretty but silent? Because I'd go to that show.
They do make them. That's the most unfortunate thing is they do make silent fireworks.
Oh, you're kidding.
Yeah, because,
often you
Yeah, they
because what
do.
you want, yeah, they want the boom. They want that, you know, it's the
Are they like
exhilaration.
obsessed with like bombs or something?
Yeah,
Like,
it's the
crazy.
exhilaration of the sense that there's an actual war going on.
Yeah, we live, there's like so we live in the city of Cincinnati, and there's a big green space right around our houses. Like, so my house faces a big green space, and it is technically a Cincinnati park, but there's nothing really there, so it's never really maintained or, you know, any kind of like patrols or anything there. And people go there and they light off all kinds of fireworks because they just think they have a big space, but you know, our houses are just like directly across the street from that. It's a small street. And like, we can't even be outside because there's been times where like we've had our kids out and like the embers or whatever that have come over and burnt one of our kids.
Oh, please get.
Babsy just showed me the host of the event. It's the San Bernardino Fire Department.
Oh my
God.
God.
Can you not cancel, John, and like try and find something else?
Dogs would be more comfortable.
Can we cancel at this point?
Get traumatized.
We lose 50%.
Ugh.
What a bummer. It'll be a short show.
You got some like friends that want to go up there that'll like pay you the money to go for them to go there, and you go somewhere else.
No. Oh well. All right. I'm about to head out, but I wanted to make one quick plug. We have hiatus week coming, and I have to say I'm very excited to see all of the events that have been created by community members. I can't wait to go. I can't wait to harvest kernels from your events. I want to remind you all that we have a new kind of event called the Fast Talk, which is that we have one being scheduled during the hiatus week on Sunday. Diana's hosting it, and it's the only type of event that you get the podium, you get the platform for about 5 minutes, 3 to 5 minutes to talk about whatever you want, uninterrupted. Have us all just spellbound by your knowledge and insight. But you have to submit a pitch, a proposal for what you want to talk about, and you can do that in that events page for whatever Fast Talk it happens to be. So if you went to that event page for Diana's Fast Talk on Sunday the 11th, I believe it is.
Yep.
You'll see that there's a submission form, and it's the pitch is literally like 250 words, like length, like a little longer than a tweet, you know. If you have an idea for something, but just wanted to let you all know that that's there. She's collecting submissions, and I am definitely going to be submitting, and so I'm going to be crossing my fingers that I am chosen. There will only be 4 people chosen to speak out of everyone who submits. So there it is. Just wanted to do a little plug on that.
And John, I think you said we have until 3 days before the event to submit.
Correct. That is correct. So 3 days before the event, just like kernel harvesting, right? Like as soon as you can harvest for that event is also as soon as that event is you're no longer going to be able to submit a pitch for it. So just keep that in mind. And what could you talk about during a Fast Talk? I mean, really, like it can run the gamut. Like it could be something super serious, or it could be something really funny. I mean, the Gilmore Girls fandom, there's just no shortage of interesting fan theories and funny deconstructions and whatnot. So that's the kind of thing that we're looking for, but short, fast, 5 minutes.
So Diana, here's the question. Do you accept kernels as bribes for being picked?
I will neither confirm nor deny.
That's amazing though, because you could technically tip her and put in the memo, you could say something like,
nudge, nudge, wink, wink.
Yeah, nudge, nudge, wink, wink. There's more where
that came from.
You scratch my back.
Good
I'll
answer,
scratch
Diana.
Yours.
We're being recorded still, Diana.
No, I'm gonna be as fair and pure as possible. So everyone just has to submit their best ideas, so that, I don't know. We'll see if John gets to talk. He might not. We might not.
Yeah, I might not. I have an idea for a fast talk that I think is kind of cool. I mentioned an idea the other day, but I have a new one that I think is better. And I mean, I don't know. You might not think it's better, or you might not like it. So that's fine. But I'm going to be there regardless. I'm excited to hear some like just geeky fandom TED Talk. It's basically like if TED Talks was about a particular fandom and was really short.
Yeah, like all the Gilmore
already got
characters.
our town selectman Rachel trying to keep us on the up and up and honest.
Yeah. No, Rachel.
I'll be there.
I heard you were like, don't take the money. Don't take it.
Yeah. All right, everyone.
She's
I'm
saying
off.
that. She's just saying, don't say anything while you're being recorded.
Yeah.
Mary can edit it. Mary can edit it all out. Anything.
Yeah, but just by the way, like, if you send it in a memo, it is recorded in the ledger. That can be in a court of law. That could be pulled. Am I right? Am I right, Rachel?
Court of law.
Oh yeah. I'll put it in writing.
Yeah, it could be pulled out of the data. They could come to me and say, we need to go into the database and take a look at some of the memos.
And
that
you're
were.
gonna just.
But then you could just take the approach to
like
bribe the town selectmen.
Yeah.
Come on, John. You're supposed to protect us. We're your peep.
Hey, Katie, did you want to say something before John left? Were you flashing?
I was. So, really quick, I just want to thank you guys for letting me join. This is my first time using this app and getting the chance to join. And so given that I'm a newbie, there's so much to learn. Like, I have so much to uncover, and I've been trying to learn as we go and pick apart what we've been talking about. For example, I'm gathering kernels or something you can collect.
If you have like questions about the app and all that, you can, I have my socials in my profile if you would want to get more information on that. I'm totally.
That was basically my question, is where would you all recommend I kind of go to study up so that I can definitely get the most benefit of
You have to build a time machine, go into the future when I've actually written up an instruction manual and put it up on the app.
Do you have Discord, Katie?
I do not.
Because he did post a lot of information on there that you could actually still read if you want to go back and read. But really, you can probably ask many of us that we could probably try to explain to. But you signed up on the Remarkable app, correct?
I did, yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty like I'm sort of dropping stuff like as I'm building things, I'm like putting information about it and whatnot, and most of those who are like really engaged in all of that game stuff have been picking it up and can probably give you a pretty good explanation or answer pretty much any question that you have. And by the way, my DMs are also open, so if you have something that you want to ask, you can always ask me directly as well. You can follow me on Facebook. You can follow me on Twitter. You can follow me on Instagram. I'm the least responsive on Instagram, by the way, just because I'm just not really, I don't really use that platform for messaging as much. I'm really responsive on Facebook and Twitter.
Perfect. Thank you.
Did you?
Yeah, no problem.
Did you join our group on Facebook, Katie? We have a group on there.
I did just join the Remarkist group.
There's another.
Oh, that's the.
We have another one.
Facebook page. That's not what they're talking about. There's a like a kind of fan group that came out of this project called the Bag Boys versus Bad Boys, and it's everybody there is a member of the Remarkist project. The name of that group is an inside joke from very early on in this project. And if you know Gilmore Girls, you probably know which two characters where it's in reference to.
John, come on, tell her you thought Dean was a bad boy. Come on.
I thought he was a bag boy, a very, very bag boy.
Oh my goodness.
That's a naughty, naughty boy.
Oh, okay, Mary, you seriously have to like create a sound bite from that so we can randomly
I
don't think John is aware anymore that there's an actual recording happening.
By the way, forgot to record, not recording.
No.
lurking.
What?
They're lurking.
Well, Mary is always lurking.
Yeah.
Is that an air quotes? I forgot to record. John.
No, that was really true. I just looked up and I was
Like,
like, oh,
you
it's not
know,
recording. By the way,
we forgot
Instagram
to
Live, you
remind
can always see them not recording because there would be a little red dot right there, just as an FYI.
We forgot to remind him. He forgot to say, "I'm starting my recorder."
See, like,
Yep,
it would
yep.
be right there. It would
I
be
know,
the
we
little
started to
recording.
trust you, and then you became less.
No,
Yeah.
no, we
He
gotta
said
go
he
back.
I
started.
wasn't on the couch, so I can't be responsible.
Yeah, but he just said he
Did I-
started the timer. That's right, you didn't.
I know. I
recording.
didn't say, and we are recording. Yeah. If you don't hear that, we're not recording. All right, everyone. I'm off. We'll be back tomorrow at 7 p.m. for one more episode before we take a day off, and then we're back on Friday for our penultimate and our finale. Our penultimate episode, of course, with Keiko Agena and Todd Lowe and me. So a large portion of Half Alien will be watching with us. And then at 7 p.m., Sean Gunn is going to be joining us for the finale episode, Raincoats and Reindeers.
Will you be taking two separate rooms?
Raincoats and, excuse me, what?
Raincoats and recipes.
Did you say reindeers?
Yes, you
Rain-
did.
I just said the first R word that I could.
Raincoats and
His
recipes.
brain is just not working right.
It is not. I'm fried.
Selecting one.
Awesome.
You know, before you leave, I was gonna mention that I think I hope I'm not speaking only for myself, but I think that we would love if you did like a fast talk on after the season, like of all your theories, like after it ends.
Oh,
so
that
we can write them all
Oh,
down.
Oh, yeah.
All
I mean,
your
we're definitely
theories.
going to have to go through.
Great idea.
We definitely have to go through and talk through the entire series, like season by season. We'll have to do something like epic that is that. I don't know the specifics of it, but yeah, I mean, a fast talk on all my theories would be really fun.
You'll have a lot to say after the season's end.
I think
Yeah.
I think there's an open day on the hiatus week that nothing's been scheduled. Maybe you could do a little session of recapping and predictions that way, and then
Yeah.
you'll have the same effect.
My biggest theory, the island is a spaceship. Oh wait, wrong shot.
Yeah.
What? I was writing it down, so I'm not writing down the spaceship. Okay.
No.
Oh no, that happens after you get beheaded, John.
Yes.
Yeah, I want to hear more about his theory on Mia. Let's see how we can connect the island theory.
Okay, on God, I want to hear the beginning, middle, and end of his feelings on Mia, because I missed
Mia
all
is,
of.
Everybody
Mia
thinks
is, I'm just going to say it like this, Carl. Mia is a Scooby-Doo villain. Like at the very end of an episode of Scooby-Doo, the zombie or the monster, they pull that mask off and it is Mia under there. You know what I'm talking about.
Those meddling
You
kids.
see what I'm
that
saying,
get
Carl?
involved.
Listen,
No, wait, John.
You know what I'm talking about.
She's so sweet, Carl. She's so
Exactly.
sweet.
Wait, y'all. I just, John.
Yes.
What? See, this is why we need a separate day. I think like maybe like you could write it in a notepad, send it to me. I should do a fast
very
talk.
like tinfoil hat type. Like,
Oh my God.
maybe John's a Scooby-Doo villain and he's trying to frame Mia.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, we're getting somewhere with this.
You know that Mia would be, she's the perfect Scooby-Doo villain. She's totally unassuming, she's super sweet, you know, but then at the very end, you pull that zombie mask off and it's like, it was Mia. And I would have gotten away with it too if it hadn't been for you meddling Gilmore. All right, everyone.
In the end, that would be interesting. That'd be
Yeah. All right, everybody. I'm off. I'll be back tomorrow. Thank you once again for watching this with me. It's been
Great
fun.
room tonight,
Yeah,
guys.
this was a fun room.
Good
Yeah.
vibes tonight.
Great.
All right.
Thanks
Good
for
night,
hosting.
everybody.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Good night. Yeah, guys, this was a lot of fun tonight. I think this has probably been my favorite room I've been in.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
it was a really great room tonight.
Good flow.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, guys.
Stacey, wait, before I forget, I just checked my